Now, back to the Larry Kudlow Show.
So for more on Kamalanomics, which is the hot topic, we bring in my pal Mike Faulkender, professor of finance at University of Maryland, AFPI chief economist, former assistant secretary of the Treasury. Mike, welcome back. You know, everyone's talking about price gouging and price controls, and we've pretty much beaten that to death last night on the TV and this morning here on the radio. But there's a couple other things. The Wall Street Journal editorial this morning is very interesting. It talks about the $3,600 child tax credit, a bonus to $6,000 for newborn. Over that's going to cost $1.2 trillion over a decade. And they call it, it's right, it's essentially a guaranteed income because the credits can go to people who don't work. And I didn't realize that, or I didn't read the fine print. And a guaranteed income, that is an old left-wing progressive socialist idea. And I guess they're sticking it back into this thing. What do you make of that?
Yeah, that's right, Larry, because they have been trying for decades to get universal basic income, and they put new language around it, and they call it things like refundable child tax credits. But really what it is it's removing work requirements. And so if you look back as to why welfare reform in the 90s was so successful and why we've been able to improve labor force participation and provide an example to children about the benefits of working, the Democrats are looking to take a lot of that away. You know, and you have to wonder sometimes, do they actually want to lift people out of poverty, or do they want people permanently in dependency? Because that's what you do when you remove work requirements. Instead of giving them a step up on the ladder of success, instead it seems to become just this permanent dependency, and that's what a really generous child tax credit that's fully refundable would do.
And that's essentially paying people not to work, to be blunt.
That's right. And there's been some academic work out of the University of Chicago that estimates that had the Biden child tax credit that they temporarily implemented in the American Rescue Plan, had that been made permanent, we would have seen 1.5 to 2 million people fewer working. And at a time that we have labor shortages, at a time that we have millions of job openings that go unmet, why would we want to discourage people from working by giving them essentially a universal basic income?
The one other thing, we're a little pressed for time, but there's a national rent cap here because there are real estate tax breaks, but they're conditioned on rent caps. So this is a new, it's bad enough the cities do this, and some states, this is a federal rent cap. Is that possible?
Right. This is what's so discouraging is that there's so much evidence out there that what rent caps do, what rent limitations cause is housing shortages. And again, we're millions of units short. And the idea that you want to discourage construction and availability of housing just boggles the mind.
Yeah, sorry, we run out of time, Michael Faulkender. You're so great to help us on the TV and the radio. We will talk some more this coming week on the TV show. That was Mike Faulkender. Next up is Charlie Gasparino, famous correspondent.